In his first days in office, Trump has signed a lot of different executive orders, and I just want to talk about one of them that I am very excited about. My name is Benelli, and I've lived in 5 different countries, and while America will always have my heart, there is something I've always said that Europe just has done better. When I was growing up, I had a fixation about architecture, and I just consumed books about architecture. And while I'm not studying architecture or plan to be an architect, I do have a wealth of knowledge about architecture all up in here. One thing that Europe has done better than the States is realizing that the aesthetic of architecture informs the country's citizens not just about its history, but also about its culture. Especially in the older countries, there is a substantial amount of finances that is poured into not just preserving architecture, but also making sure that new buildings that are created in that country follow the general aesthetic theme and architecture styles of the original buildings. And that's one of the reasons why so many people want to go to old countries in Europe, because it's picturesque. And they talk about coming home and just loving walking around the streets and seeing all of the buildings and how much the public interacted with the landscape that they were living in. Well, one of the executive orders that Trump signed is for the beautification of government buildings. He wants to get away from that sleek, modern, brutalist style of architecture that's made so many of our government buildings just look like boxes, which is kind of depressing. Government buildings should reflect a style of architecture that empowers its citizens and informs the public about the country's culture and history. Now, I'm not 100% sure what all of the logistics that are going to go into this entail, but for me personally, I hope that we bring back some of the Greek-styled columns and the beautiful marble structures that we picture when we think of buildings such as the ones in Washington, D.C.